What's going on, guys? It's Moldy Fate here, and today we're gonna talk about what if Tanjiro was in My Hero Academia Part 6. If this video gets 5 likes, I will drop the next part within a week. But if it does not get 5 likes within the first 24 hours, I'll just have to go to a different series. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this part. Izuku Midoriya was running through the woods with Koda in his hands as he handed Koda off to Aizawa. As Aizawa would ask Midoriya what is going on, Midoriya would state the villains are attacking the campsite and Tanjiro was left alone fighting another villain. I have to go back and save him. As Tanjiro was about to leave, Aizawa said, "Wait, Tanjiro, you are now permitted to fight villains." As then that one pussycat girl who had the quirk of like, I don't know, what was it again? Oh, she basically can talk to like almost anyone around her. Doesn't really matter right now, but like basically she says, "Oh, everybody's allowed to fight villains." So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the beginning of this part is gonna be a lot of the original. So yeah, expect that. Expect some deja vu. And if I do skip over stuff, it's not because I'm lazy. It's because it's not important. Anyway, so back to the story. Izuku goes back to where he first began. He does not see Tanjiro anywhere, but the muscular guy then jumps from the bottom of the cliff to the top to attack Izuku. As Izuku would yell, "What'd you do to him?" The muscular guy would say, "What, your friend? Oh, we already took him. Next will be the blonde brat. What was his name? Yeah, Bakugo." As Izuku would think to himself, what would they want to do with Kanchan? And they already took Tanjiro. What does that mean? Anyway, so Tanjiro and Muscular's fight is practically the same, only Koda is not there. So I'm not really going to talk about that much. But yes, Tanjiro's arms are broken. And he's running through the woods, going back to Aizawa, as he then yells to Aizawa, "They're trying to steal Bakugo. They already kidnapped Tanjiro, and they're trying to kidnap Bakugo as well." As then the cat lady would then relay that message to a person named Kanchan, since of course he wouldn't say his real name. But yeah, Izuku still finds Bakugo, and Bakugo still gets kidnapped like in the original, so a lot hasn't really changed. But then we cut to Tanjiro waking up. As Bakugo is yelling at the other villains that he would never join the little circus group, Tanjiro would begin to yell, What you guys are this you guys are the League of Villains, right? What did you do to my family? My mom and my sister and my younger brother, what'd you do to them?" As he began to yell, Kokoshibo would then put a finger over his own mouth to shush Tanjiro. Tanjiro would be afraid at first because Kokoshibo, I mean, he's fucking scary. So I'd shut the fuck up too. But yeah, Tanjiro is now silenced as Bakugo continues to yell. As Kokoshibo would then ask Shigaraki, "Why do we keep them alive? I could kill them right now." And Shigaraki would look at Kokoshibo. Well, our boss told us not to kill them yet. Bakugo and Tanjiro's quirks would be grateful additions to League of Villains. Even better, if they become villains themselves. Well, imagine the headlines as he'd begin to laugh. UA students join Leagues of Villains. I mean, wouldn't that be a great story? As Kokoshibo would exhale in disappointment. You and the media, I swear. As he's about to unsheath his sword. "I don't care what your boss says." As he would then unsheath his sword and point the tip of the sword towards Tanjiro's nose. "I was here for his quirk. I need it. His sister's wasn't good enough." As Tanjiro's blood would begin to boil. "What'd you do to Nezuko?" As Shigaraki would interrupt. "We didn't do anything." As Tanjiro would then begin to exhale a bit more rapidly. But, but, a hero told me that you killed my mom and my sister. They saw you walk away." As Shigaraki would then smile. "We didn't kill your mom. or your sister. She's alive and well. As Tanjiro would look to Shigaraki with a cold, dead stare. Then where are they? And Shigaraki would laugh. You don't know. That's hilarious. Your mom's dead for sure, but we didn't kill her. As then Toga would walk out with a person. As they were laughing and talking, Tanjiro recognized one of the voices. You know, with a quirk like your sister's, it's really hard to be a hero. So, if you can't be a hero, then... As he would then see Nezuko walking towards Shigaraki, then why not be a villain? As Tanjiro would begin to cry. You did something to her. You brainwashed her or something. As Nezuko would interrupt. He didn't brainwash me, Tanjiro. He simply showed me the truth. And he'll show you the truth as well. As her expression seemed a little fake. As if she was lying. You see? Your sister knows it. And you will too. Just join us. As Tanjiro would begin to cry. Bakugo, with all this mushy stuff, he couldn't take it anymore. He's never seen Tanjiro cry. As Bakugo would think to himself, this is my rival? As he would then yell out loud, whatever your bastards villains are thinking of doing with us, I won't let you do it. I'm gonna be the #1 hero. As Shigaraki would then laugh. Well, you see, that's not gonna be the case soon. As he'd laugh more and more, Tanjiro wouldn't know how to feel. He began to look at Nezuko. Why? Why kill Mom? You could have just joined. Why kill her? As Nezuko would look at Tanjiro and get closer. She was in the way. Simple as that. As Tanjiro would cry even more. He would then inhale. You didn't. As then they'd hear a knock at the door. Pizza delivery. As Shigaraki would be confused. We didn't order any pizza. As he would then talk, he would get close to the door. Who's it from? As then they would hear a kind of familiar voice. Oh, it's just from the pizza service of... As All Might would burst through the door. Pizza service of justice. As Kodagiri was about to use his quirk to teleport everybody, what's his name? Gran Torino. Yeah, Gran Torino fucking knocks him out. And then he would pretty much knock most people out. Kamui Woods would entangle people, and All Might would rescue both of the boys. Are you two alright? As Bakugo would say, I didn't need your help, you old man. Tanjiro stayed silent. Tanjiro? Tanjiro would say, I don't know. As everybody was trying to get things wrapped up, Tanjiro all of a sudden felt this weird, moist thing crawling from his back. As he would then tell All Might, I don't feel so. As then he was teleported to Kami. Fuck. The place they get teleported to in the anime. I don't remember the name. It was a random ass city. I'm sorry. Basically the warehouse. Let's say the warehouse. Basically Tanjiro, League of Villains, and Bakugo would be teleported to the warehouse. As then they would hear a voice. Well, Shigaraki, I'm impressed. You're doing so good. Hell, you even got a new member. And it's from his family. I call this a little bit of irony, wouldn't it? As they would then look up, it was all for one. Yurichi Kamado and his grandchildren. One's a villain, one's a hero. I would not believe myself. As he laughed, he would then float towards Nezuko. Your name is Nezuko Kamado, right? As she would then bow. Yes, sir. As he would then look at Tanjiro. And you? Tanjiro Kamado, correct. As Tanjiro wouldn't answer. As All For One would look. You know your grandfather and I were friends. Yes, he was a villain too. How about you just follow in his... As Tanjiro would cut him off. I would never. Unlike you, I'm not some scumbag that kill people, that hurt people. As Tanjiro would then leap at All For One. Kami, Ember! As Tanjiro's fist began to burst into flames, Nezuko would jump in front of him, as then she would cut her own wrist and then yell, exploding blood! An explosion was set off in front of Tanjiro's face, making him lean back. Get blown back. Bakugo would catch him though. So, she can explode herself too. Listen, Tanjiro, I got an idea. I'll take your sister on, and you get the hell out of here. Tanjiro would then wipe the sweat off his face. I couldn't do that. Bakugo would then state, well, what's the plan then? Tanjiro would remember. You remember the final exam, right? Bakugo would smile. I don't like it, but it might work. Tanjiro and Bakugo would then chase after All For One, but all the villains would get in the way, so they'd deal with them first. They would use teamwork. It was kind of beautiful the way they were working together. Tanjiro would inhale, set his foot ablaze, his arms ablaze, using all of his techniques, eventually entering his Hinokami mode, as he would then yell, Hinokami Kagura. What was it called? Yeah, it was like Hinokami Kagura. What was it, like Flash? Whatever. It was like, alright, I'll get to it. Hinokami Kagura 60 FPS. Basically 60 flashes per second. You know that Rainbow Haze movie does? Well, basically, in this version, when he does that Rainbow Haze phrase, he makes his whole body flash into light. And 60 FPS is obviously 60 flashes per second. So now he can make an after image that it appears to go around a whole second delay. So basically, his enemies, what they're seeing is a full second after what Tanjiro does. Sorry, it gets a bit confusing explaining it. But basically, that's what happens. Yeah. So most of the villains don't even know where Tanjiro is, because every single time they do hit him, there's a rainbow haze, and it seems like he is like teleports away. So what they think is happening is Tanjiro is teleporting every single time he gets hit, but in actuality, he's just creating an after image, a full second delay. And and they also like weirdly get hit a full second before he makes a motion. Eventually, Kokoshibo, because he's just that guy, figures out what Tanjiro is kind of doing, and he basically guesses Tanjiro's moves a whole 60 seconds beforehand, and eventually understands Tanjiro's pattern, and all he really has to do is look at the after image, see what it's about to do, and kind of guess from there. Yeah, so Kokoshibo is going to be a very hard villain. He basically uses a bunch of crescent moon slashes to make a bunch of blades and shit. You know, like he is in the manga. I won't say a lot of his names because I don't want to spoil it, but just take my word for it, it would be difficult. Eventually, Tanjiro is able to fling Bakugo into the air, as Bakugo was about to do a howitzer impact, and Tanjiro was about to do his fire dragon kick in the Hinokami mode. So yeah, it's fast as fuck, boy. And the howitzer impact with the dragon kick would merge together and go straight for All For One, but he'd block it, as then he would send the boys flying. But the boys would be sent flying in two parts, but in the middle, All Might would jump in and begin to face off with All For One. At that same time, the same team who went to go save Bakugo in the original, Izuku, Kirishima, Todoroki, Momo and Ida literally fly up into the air with a very smart, actually a smart decision. It's a ramp, a nice ramp, and Izuku Midoriya and Ida are like pushing Kirishima and Todoroki. It was like super fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. They're flying through the air, and Kirishima's like, "Take my hand," and Bakyo and Tanjiro both zoom towards the students. But Tanjiro looks kind of sad because he looks at Nezuko, and All for One kind of makes everybody go into a portal that he made. Pretty much the same scene, and All for One and All Might's fight continue like normal up to a certain point. So when All Might loses all of One for All for One was gonna go for a last blow, and as the fist was just about to hit All Might's face, a burst of flames appears. As then you see a person behind All for One. He looks behind himself. The number 2 hero, Kyojuro Rengoku. I know I made him the number 3 hero last time, but making him the number 2 hero I think is actually a lot better for the story. So that's gonna be a little retcon, but at the moment it really doesn't matter. As you then see Kyojuro Rengoku with his blazing cape and his fiery like hair, the boys would land and go to the television, as Tanjiro would look up and he would see basically his like sensei in a way. A look at him. As Kyojuro Rengoku out loud would state, "Tanjiro, my boy, if you're listening, I'm so proud. You set your heart ablaze and it was beautiful. But now you're gonna have to see how it's properly done. How your sensei does it." As he would enter like the same type of stance he did in the movie, the Demon Slayer movie, as when he sets his heart ablaze, flames appear around him instead of internally. As Tanjiro would look, "Tanjiro Kamado, listen here and listen close. These are my last words to you. If I die here, which I hope I don't, it would be a good day and a good reason to die. Remember, eat well, sleep well, and train well, and always do your best. The strong must protect the innocent." As he would then dash towards All for One, a giant dragon, a flaming dragon, like in the movie, unlike the manga, but like in the movie, would appear, and All for One is engulfed in the heat, and a fury of slashes from Rengoku's sword would appear, and All for One is getting fucking like cuts all over his body, deep, shallow, it doesn't matter, but he is getting a fury of it. And eventually he tries to punch he's trying to punch Rengoku, but he doesn't really have that many self-generation quirks. So the arm that Rengoku like fucking cut off is still trying to regenerate. So as he's punching with the other one, All Might would appear in his muscular form and would hold back the punch. As All for One was getting pissed off. All for One would then fling All Might and thus create a burst of wind to exterminate the flames, as when Goku and All Might would get flung around the same area. When Goku would state, I have one last idea, but this might be my last one, remember it. My body won't be able to handle the heat any longer, so I'm just have to go until I'm burnt away. Once that happens, go for the finishing blow, All Might. It was fun working with you." As he would then set his heart ablaze a second time, his heart would pump the fastest he's ever gone, and you visually see him cough up blood. The second the blood exits his body, it evaporates, as Rengoku would dash towards All for One again, doing around the same move, but this time he's doing a lot of his own moves, like the Tiger one, where it's a defense. He still does Blazing Universe, it's stuff like that, and honestly, he begins burning away from the back. His back is turned into char, and the longer he fights, the more his body looks char-like, to the point where his entire body is black. But it's black and it's charred up, and basically Rengoku's on his last leg. As All for One would quote, "Your mortal body, your quirk, it's weakening you. If you just joined me, I can give you a stronger body to handle that amazing quirk of yours. Why waste it here?" As Rengoku would state, his mother always told him, the strong must protect the weak no matter what. People like you, people who use the weak instead of protecting them, really just piss him off. As he continues his flurry of attacks, eventually his sword starts to melt away, and it finally caught up to him as his body was gone, just gone. His body would then, well, the ashes that remain then float into the air. As everybody looked shocked, as the news reporter who caught everything on camera would state, the number 2 hero is now gone. Everybody was in shock. But All Might did not forget the plan. As in All for One shock, All Might would then use all of the embers of One for All. Because in this story, since Izuku doesn't get it, I'll just give it to Mirio. So yeah. As All for One used the very last embers of as All Might would use the very last embers of All for One. I mean One for All. Sorry. Very last embers of One for All. He'd do a United States of Smash, and yes, this one does land, and All for One is defeated with All Might being shrunken down into his small face. But in this version, he does not raise his fist. As a matter of fact, he puts his fist close to his heart, and he begins to look up into the sky. Then he raises his fist. Everybody then raises their face in excitement as Tanjiro is seen crying. Izuku looked at Tanjiro. I'm so sorry. He was important to you, wasn't he? Tanjiro would then wipe his tears. He taught me how to be better. I mean, as he would then begin to walk away. And now we cut to a day later. Tanjiro was getting settled into his new home, and he even told Izuku what happened with his sister and all. She becoming a villain, killing his mom, stuff like that. But he told Izuku not to tell anyone else until he was ready to tell everybody else. So yeah. All Might still shows up to Izuku's house to ask his mother, Inko, if they can stay in the dorms, and they do. And basically, everything stays roughly the same until we get to the Bakugo scene. See, Bakugo in this version, he already figured out One for All, but he doesn't care because he more wants to fight Tanjiro. Tanjiro's been in a depression phase, and he wants to beat Tanjiro out of it. So basically goes to Tanjiro, he's like, follow me. So Tanjiro's like, I don't want to. Bakugo would grab Tanjiro by the collar and drag him. Izuku sees this and begins to follow Bakugo and Tanjiro, and Bakugo would throw Tanjiro into ground beta. Tanjiro would yell actually, what the hell, man? Bakugo would state, you've been in a funk recently. Look, I understand everything that's been going on, and I understand you're sad and stuff, but you do know the hero license exam starts soon, right? You can't be in a funk like this if you want to become a hero. Tanjiro would then look down. Maybe I don't want to become a hero. What's the point? I couldn't even save my sister. Bakugo would grab Tanjiro by the collar. Yes, you can. And if you don't start accepting that, well, I'm gonna have to beat it out of you. Tanjiro would ask, what do you mean? As Bakugo would tell Tanjiro, look around. Do you recognize it? Tanjiro would look around. Oh yeah, it's ground beta. Is that why you dragged me all out here? To threaten me? As Bakugo would then throw an explosive punch. Tanjiro, in instinct, would dodge it. Hey, calm down. Bakugo would start throwing a flurry of punches. It's either now or never. It's either you let me beat your ass, or you start fighting back. Eventually, after a few minutes of Bakugo just trying to assault him, Tanjiro would use Ember and punch Bakugo in the face. I said enough! Look, I don't want to fight you. Bakugo would feel around his nose as it was bleeding, as he would begin to smile. There we go. As he again on his assault against Tanjiro, and the fight eventually escalated to the point where Tanjiro was now just straight up using Hinokami attacks, and Tanjiro's Bakugo's fight gets to the point where they're actually starting to destroy Ground Beta as Tanjiro's using Hinokami, Clear Blue Sky, and he did like Clear Blue Sky multiples and stuff like that, and Bakugo was using Howitzer Impact and stuff like that, and eventually got to the point where Tanjiro was in his Hinokami mode, and Bakugo was just straight up in it like a pissy mindset. And Tanjiro and Bakugo would then clash, where Tanjiro is still using his Dragon Kick, and Bakugo using a heated, like an amped version of his Howitzer Impact. Instead of it being smoke, it's just straight up pure flames. As then they would collide, the heat from it would begin to start melting glass around them, as then an explosion is caused, destroying most of the buildings. Tanjiro and Bakugo would get up, and they would stammer towards each other. With a balled fist in hand, they'd try and throw one last punch when All Might would stop their punches. Is this what you boys do? You can't talk it out? And you, Izuku Midoriya, you really didn't think to stop this? As Tanjiro and Bakugo would look around, where was he? Izuku came out of bushes. They seemed to like have their own moment. I didn't want to. As I went with motion, Izuku to step closer. He then look at the three boys. Look, you guys are the next generation of heroes. Too bad this one's starting to fail you guys. How about you do me a favor and don't kill each other while you're still learning? You then hug all three of them. And Tanjiro would even thank Bakugo, as this fight kind of cheered him up a little, but only a little. Bakugo would smile. And it better not happen again, asshole. As they begin to walk, as All Might would state, you know, Tanjiro, Bakugo, you're all going to be on house arrest, right? And you too, Midoriya, for association. As All Might would laugh. And even though, yeah, they'd probably get in house arrest, they didn't care. And that's going to be all for part 6 of this series. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably not going to do the hair license in the gym. I just really do not want to. It's so ass. Okay, sorry. It's just, it is an ass part of the series. I don't know what Horikoshi was thinking. But, hey, thank you for listening for 30 freaking minutes. Jesus Christ, I talk too much. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, within the first 24 hours, if this video gets 5 likes, I'll upload this part within a week. But if it doesn't, well, then fuck me. I'm going to have to do What If Naruto Was Neglected Part 5. And I kind of don't want to because I like the series. So please, justify my reasoning for this love. And please, have a nice good night, good morning, good evening. I don't fucking care. Good job. See ya. Remember, mold your fate.